Hello, my name's Greg Egan, and today I just want to have a quick discussion on what do I study after finishing high school. Okay, to start with, it's a big decision to commit to. Do I do a certificate? Do I do a diploma? Do I do a university degree? Because you're looking at anywhere from 1 year study to 6 years study to maybe more, depending on what you're going to do. So it's a big commitment that you're going to put yourself through. So some of the suggestions I get you to think about is, first, get a pen and paper out or get a Word document up on your computer. Start to brainstorm on what all your interests are. Like, what do I really want to do with my life? And what sort of job pathways do I potentially want to have? What sort of careers do I potentially want to have? Map them all out. Map out all your dreams, your goals, your ideas on a piece of paper. The next step is start to look at, okay, what sort of jobs fit with my goals, with my dreams? Do I want to be a lawyer? Do I want to be a social worker? Do I want to be an accountant? Do I want to work in business? Do I want to work in policy? Do I want to work in electronics, computers, whatever? Then you start looking at, okay, what sort of qualifications are out there? Now, to decide on the qualifications, some other hints and tips may be, first, to start with going on the job sites like Seek and start to go, okay, if I want a job in a particular thing like counselling, so let's do a search on counsellor jobs. And then you would look at those job descriptions and look at what sort of qualifications, what sort of experience do people need to get those jobs. And that might give you a good starting point, because that then might tell you, okay, I need a diploma, I need a degree, I need a master's, just by looking at those various job advertisements. Other things you could do is go on apps like LinkedIn. And the reason I suggest LinkedIn is because there you get to see people already in the profession, already doing the jobs you potentially could be interested in. And then look at their qualifications. Look at what they've done with their qualifications, what sort of career pathways they've taken. And also going back to Seek and other job sites, or even government job sites, you can start to see the type of salaries you may actually earn if you go down that career pathway. And also between the job sites and LinkedIn, you can start to get and also reading on the university websites, the TAFE and college websites, you can get an idea of the various types of career pathways and jobs you can do with the particular qualification you're interested in. And so that's important to note, because you want to know, okay, if I spend 3 years studying this particular university degree, what options are available to me at the end of the day? What can I do with that university degree? And you want to consider lifestyle as well. Like, you want to think about, do I want to just work in Australia and I never want to travel? Or do I want a qualification which is internationally recognised, which means it doesn't matter where I go in the world, I can get a job? One of the reasons why me in particular, I studied a Bachelor of Social Work, was at the time I was interested in actually taking jobs overseas. And my Bachelor of Social Work enabled me to be able to work in places like Ireland, England, Canada, America, and many more places. And so that was my thinking at the time, and one of the reasons I studied it. And the other reason I studied my qualification was because of the versatility of what I could do with it. I could work in government, I could work in non-for-profit, I could work in private practice, I could run my own business. And so that's the reason I chose this particular qualification. So these are things to start thinking about even before you enroll in a particular course. Other things to think about is, okay, do I want to work whilst I'm studying? Like, not everyone has the luxury of having their parents being able to support them through study. And some people may need to financially support themselves through study. So one thing to think about too is, do I do a short course before I go to university? because that'll have two benefits. One, you could do a short course, could be in bartending, could be in disabilities, could be just to enable you to work on the roads or do some other sort of traffic control. It could be any sort of qualification that gives you something that can get you into casual employment whilst you're studying. And of course, you don't need qualifications to do casual employment. You can still work in places like supermarkets and other sorts of places where you could get some casual work. But at least if you do a little bit of study before you go in, even if it's a weekend course, even if it's a 6-month course, 1-year course, that could at least give you a feel for study even before you actually go into university, if that's the pathway you choose. And just say, for example, you wanted to go down the pathway like me in social work. If you did a Certificate 3 in disabilities, or individual support, I think they call it in Australia now, that could at least get you a job in the welfare sector, which would then give you experience working in the welfare sector. So when you went in to do something like a Bachelor of Social Work, Bachelor of Social Science, welfare work, counselling, whatever you choose, you would be having work experience in the field you are actually studying. And another advantage of that is if you're working in the field that you're actually studying, or a similar related field, some of the stuff that you're studying, you may be able to use as tax deductions because it's part of your professional development. It's part of you developing yourself in that particular field. And also, when you go to finish your university degree, if having a casual job along the way, one, it helps support you financially whilst you're studying, but two, it also gives you another key thing, references. And it also gives you credibility that you've actually had a job. Because some people that go straight from high school, straight to university, have never worked at all, they struggle with getting their first job because they've got no references. They've got no work experience of any sort. They've just gone straight from study to study to study. So whether it's volunteer work you're doing or whether it's paid work you're doing whilst you're studying, some of that stuff can be very useful to you later when it comes to getting employment. And it also gives you a taste for the field. If you're working in a similar field to what you're going to be doing after you finish your university degree. So that's just some quick hints and tips to consider before you even enroll at university. Think about, what am I going to do after I finish? And on that, consider that all the various pathways that you can take. Like you may also have a career pathway in mind. Finishing your degree is only one step. But then after you finish that, there's a whole nother ball game of career planning that goes with that. And in later videos, I'll actually talk about how to actually build your career. But for now, just take some time before you even enroll in TAFE, enroll in college, enroll in university. Think about, is this really what I want to do? And if I'm going to do it, take some serious thought before you actually do enroll in a course. Because the last thing you want to do is waste 1 to 6 years studying only to finish and actually realise that you actually don't want to work in the field, or it's not what you expected. Doing all this preparation and all this research around what you can do with that qualification may help you decide whether this is the course for you before you even enroll in it. Anyway, that's just some of my thoughts. Let me know what you think or even add to the discussion. Thank you.